Ever noticed how worry can leave you feeling not just mentally drained, but physically exhausted as well? Welcome to this episode of Natter with Niamh. Today we're going to talk about worry, what it is, the effects it has on us, and more importantly, how we can stop worrying. I was brought up thinking worry was normal, it was natural. My mother used to say things like she worried if she had nothing to worry about. So for me, it just felt normal that I would go into worry, into overthinking, into creating scenarios. And like you, I have a pretty good imagination. So something would pop into my brain and I could come up with all sorts of wonderful future scenarios for why this problem might be insurmountable, or why this could go wrong, or that could go wrong, or why I should or shouldn't do something. And I could take myself around in endless circles. And this is the thing with worry. It is those endless circles. And worry becomes an addiction because of those endless circles we take ourselves in. A worry pops up. We feel scared, unsafe. So we feel we have to do something. So our brain gets activated. It tries to come up with solutions. It creates future scenarios. What if this? What if that? And because we've gone through this cycle, because we've thought about it, and we've seen maybe possible solutions or outcomes, we think we've dealt with it. So we have this feeling, I guess this story in our brain that we're dealing with it. We're doing something because we're worrying about it. But actually, we're not. All we're doing is growing that worry. Because we're not actually taking action. We're just allowing our brain to gnaw away at it. And yes, it feels like we're doing something in that moment of time. Let's take a practical example here. You go out one morning to go somewhere in your car and you've got a flat tire. Now for me, years ago, the first thing that would have come into my mind was, oh no, now I'm going to be late. What can I do? How can I get there? I'm going to have to ring them. I'm going to have to tell them. I'm going to have to get the bus. Where do I even get the bus? I've never got the bus. Or maybe it's a train. I don't know. I'm going to be late. And so my mind would go on, and I'd be standing there for 4 or 5 minutes with all this going through my brain, creating different alternatives, different stories, rather than immediately taking action. What action could I have taken in that situation? Well, I could have rung my mechanic and seen if he was available. I could have looked in my boot actually and seen if I had a spare tire, and then maybe got somebody to help me change the tire. Or I could immediately have looked up what time the bus or the train might be and got myself into action, started walking towards the bus station or the train station. And while I'm doing that, I could phone the people I'm supposed to be meeting and let them know I might be a few minutes late because this has happened. That's taking action rather than allowing ourselves to get pulled away into the worry. And for years, I would have allowed myself to be pulled into the worry. I'd have worried about being late, about not making the appointment or whatever it was, about how I was going to get the tyre fixed when obviously it was flat and you can't get it to the garage when it's flat. And I would get pulled into all of this thinking. It would feel like I was doing something, but I wasn't. And the trouble was that my flat tire was not going to go away by me thinking all those thoughts. The only way that flat tire was going to go away was by me actually taking action to make it go away. So that would be either checking if I had a spare and could I change it myself. I have been taught how to do that. Can I remember? Probably not. The second alternative would be to call my mechanic and ask him to come and do it. But that would mean that, I would have to wait. So the best alternative was to find another way to get there. Now, if my mind had gone straight to that, I would have saved myself all this angst and worry. Because what you'll also notice is when you get caught up in this loop of worry, it's not just in your head. It affects your body too. And you might not realize it at the time. But you'll be breathing faster. Your heart might be racing. Your palms might be sweating. Because your body is getting ready, prepared for fight or flight. Because your brain has activated that unsafe feeling. And so we are getting ready to fight or to run, when actually we don't even need to at all. So how do we stop this, and how did I stop this? Well, I won't say it was overnight, and I won't say that I never worry, because that would be lying. We all worry. It's part of human nature. But we don't need to take it to extremes. So the way that worked for me to get out of this worry was to actually name the worry. So what am I worrying about? Okay, my flat tire. I've got a flat tire. The next thing was to ask myself, is there anything I can do about this in this moment in time? To my flat tire at that moment when I needed to go somewhere? Probably not. So the answer to that would be no. Can I park this till later? No pun intended. Yes, most likely I can leave this till later. And often that's not accessible to us. And when we first start on this journey of working on stopping the worry, it's not accessible. But what is accessible is noticing when you're worrying, when you've got into that pattern, when your brain's going into overdrive trying to come up with solutions. If you notice, you can just pop a hand on your chest. You can take a deep breath and you can say to yourself, Niamh, but obviously you'd use your own name, you're worrying. What am I worrying about? What action can I take at the moment? And the more we practice this, the more we notice when we're starting to go into that spiral, and the easier it is to pull ourselves out of it. Sometimes just naming the worry can help. Sometimes just asking that question, can I do anything about this right now, in this present moment, can help. And if the answer is yes, then take that action. If it's no, then you put it aside. You come back to it later. Worry is just your brain's way of pretending it has control. You can stop it by acting or letting go if there's no action available. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If it spoke to you, please do let me know. Comment or message me. If there's anything else you would like me to talk about, also please do let me know. Thank you once again for listening, and please share this with anybody you think it would help. Thank you, and I'll see you again on the next one.